Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so here's the old wing on the other side, and we're going to add to it. And we'll start by putting in some of these strengthening pieces. And each of these, remember, it's hard to see on the video, but there's little lines showing you where these things should actually go and attach. This is a little disjointed, and under there, that's where the wheels are going to go. And we start with those. I figured that's a good place to start sandwiching these pieces together. So these are going to be, I assume, where the wheel pants are going to plug into once we build them. And these actually also add some structural strength. They're thick and they butt up against a spar and a rib. So they're actually a pretty good place to start. So you can see the little lines on there. Those show you exactly where you're supposed to glue these to. Again, really, really well done. And then all you do is make sure that it's flush and make sure that everything's square. So I'll play with these a little bit and put them against the table and squash them and make sure that everything's flat and perpendicular and all that sort of stuff. But you just basically glue these three pieces together with a little bit of glue. Make sure they're good and like a block of wood almost, and then that's going to go in, like I said, up next to a spar and to a rib, and it'll help square up the rib and square up the spar. All this stuff is designed very, very well. You really can't mess up. And so some of this video is, like I said, it's disjointed, and maybe I'm too close with a lot of it, but it gives you an idea of what you have to do. And as long as you look at the pictorial directions and you study them a little bit and maybe practice a couple times, you'll do just fine. You can see there, those aren't quite lined up, so I kind of line them up a little bit, trying to make sure they're going to be flat up against each other. And I'm just pushing down and making sure they're up and down. And by the time I'm done, it looks pretty good. I squeeze it shut, and I've got a pretty good right angle there. So we're good. So that's that piece pretty much done. One last little push using the blade, and see, now I got a nice square flush piece. So that is the first step. At least I did it this way because that's going to be an integral part to the wing. Now we'll start doing the other parts. You can see there with those little drawings, that's where those are going to go actually. But that one of my fingers on is the front spar, and then there's a rear spar. So first thing I did was there's a little rib that goes there where those slots are. This is the beauty of having these, there you can see some of the lines where things come together really nice. You can show you where things are supposed to go. This is the beauty of having these laser cut cardboard parts. Number one, they're the right thickness. So when I use balsa wood, for instance, I got to sand it a lot of times to get it to the right thickness, which isn't a big deal. But these are a luxury, but they're really nice. And if you've never done a paper model before, I would say absolutely invest in a set of these. Find a nice kit like this one, and get those parts, because it'll make things much easier for you. Now, before that, I put that rib in easily, and before that dries, you can see now I'm adding glue to where the spars are going to come together. See, those spars are kind of like L's, and you'll see they're going to come together real nice. I'll put glue all along those pieces and all on this piece. So when these come together, what's the perfect thing about this is it gives you absolutely perfect dihedral, fits nice, and you can see when this gets into place, it's going to lock into place, making sure those are together and flush. But see how it butted up against that rib on the front? That's great. And now that thing is together, and then there's some more pieces that we're going to put on immediately, if not sooner, that will help hold those spars together. But already, now they look really good. There they are. And right now, as I said, you have perfect dihedral right now. No worries, nothing. It's just glorious. So making sure things are good, which they are. And now I'll start putting in some of these pieces. That piece goes right up there, and it's a drop fit. And you just barely, you put some glue in there. A couple of these pieces are like that. But you can see when I put some glue in there, and it goes over, it's going to help, it goes in, it's going to help hold those spar pieces together. And I'm putting in a fair amount because I'm not that worried about being careful. It's also, I'm doing this for the video, so I'm trying to get it done quickly to show you. But you watch when this thing goes in, it just goes in like, you put one end in and you drop it down and boom, There it is. It's in, and it's being flush in this case around the top part of that rib. But unbelievable. And I'm squeezing, making sure that it's actually making contact. But that's the way most of these, if not all of these pieces, fit on this wing. If you did it on your own and made your own parts, I think you'd get dang close. But it is really sweet with these pre-cut laser parts, I have to say. So this is the part that's going to go on the trailing edge, and the same thing is going to happen. In this case, there's a mark down at the bottom of that rear spar that shows that I have to put it down essentially flush with the bottom of the rib. Um, and so that's what I did, and there it is. I'm making sure when I put these in that they're square. Every once in a while, when I edited this film, there's parts where you don't see me, but I'm looking at it from the edge, making sure everything is straight, making sure there's no twists, etc. Kind of like that. Um, Now I add in that little piece that we did for the wheels. And again, I put glue all over on the flat parts and on the rib and on that spar. And now when you slide this thing in, you're going to have a nice solid, forced right angle. Again, it gets everything nice and keeps everything square. Pop that in there, squeeze it shut, and you've got a great piece, and you've got a real positive location for your landing gear. No questions asked. I mean, this will be better than any plastic model you could imagine, or as good as an excellent plastic model. Now, these are boring things, but I think I speed this up a little bit, but these are how you cut these things out. These are more pieces that have to go on, and you can see they come right out very easily. Um, and you use a little X-Acto blade or a knife, whatever you want to use, whatever knife you want to use, to pull them out. And there is a little nubbin on there on all of them. So you do need to take them and sand them just to get rid of those. I always use the end of a knife too, but I tend to use just a little nail file and just get them clean. Make sure they fit. It's the same old fit, same old. Plus, it's not even in the field of view. But you just slide these things in, and look at that. Beautiful. Um, and again, in this case, I was a little low. See, that's a little bit went in too far. Well, I just pulled it up with the edge of the blade, and now it's good. Get off the excess glue, squeeze it shut, and Bob's your uncle. Then we're putting on yet another piece that's going to do the same kind of thing. It's going to go on the inside here of that one. I forgot this piece actually on the other side. So I was looking at our thing we were doing together, and I realized, oh, I forgot a piece. So I put one over here and one on the other side as well. And again, that's way too much glue. And that's again because of my great ability to take pictures, and I'm trying to get it done. But this just sits in flat again, flush. And you want to make sure it's flush because we can sand it a little bit before we put on the skins. But this is going to go up against the skin. So if there's burbles and furbles and bits of glue and glop, it's going to show through on the skin. So you want to make sure that it's smooth and nice. But the point of this is, man, these parts fit like an absolute glove. Just beautiful. So there it is, nice and solid. Now I want to put this piece in, and that's going to help the two main spars hold apart the way they're supposed to be, because initially they're kind of weak. So I think as fast as you can, you should put this piece in. And this piece, again, it's hard to take pictures of this, but there are lines, as I said, in the rib and on the spar that show where this thing goes. And it actually goes down a little bit, and ends up being flush with the top of the spar. But I'm putting the glue along the outside edge, and again, that's a lot of glue, but then I smooth it out. And here it is in there. I've made sure it's in the right location along the line. I'm checking that right now. And then out on the wingtip, it ends up being right on the edge and lined up on the sort of the surface. Here it is being squeezed together. I'm just making sure it's good, and I'm checking it with the other wing. That's what's good about doing one wing correctly. You can look at it and use it as a template. So I'm just kind of squeezing, and I'm kind of pushing. You can't see what I'm doing on the right side there, but basically I'm making sure that this piece is even and that the spars are parallel. Doesn't look like they are now, but they are in real life. So there it is. Now, there's a little tip rib that has to be cut out, and the same old thing happens. Cut it out, and you can see the lines. See those lines there? That's where these big pieces go. And you do the same old thing we did before. You got to sand this thing to get rid of those little nubbins, and then you're ready to go. So in this case, this end rib goes way over here. Um, um, and we're going to put this in right, too much glue there. Put it right there where you can't see. Boy, these macro pictures make my fingers look really interesting. But once this is together, there it is, a better shot of it, kind of. And again, I made sure that it goes along that line that we saw. There it is. So now, it's more of the same. There's a couple of other pieces that get cut out, and they're sanded, and they're put in the very same way, following the lines. It is, again, very self-explanatory. That's why I'm zipping through this. And all these pieces have to be cleaned up a little bit. And when they are, then you're ready to go. So this is a little tiny piece that ends up going on the trailing edge component, which this piece here is part of that. So the next thing I did, I believe, was to put in this larger piece. This piece here is going to go down here on the end. It's going to end up going right there. But I realized that I got to put this other longer triangular piece in first. It's a much better idea, this little sucker here. Because this is going to give you, again, strength on the spar, and it's going to give you a good location for, there's a third little spar that goes in there. So that one fits in, and just like that. And I'm checking to make sure that it goes where it's supposed to go. So I'm lining it up on this little, on those lines, and then you can see I'm holding it now against it just to see where it's going to go. And this one again ends up curving up to the wingtip and ends up looking really pretty nice and smooth. So that's a boring shot, but it's something important for you to know about. So that piece got put in, and then I put a spar along the end of it, that back spar. Now all the spars are in. The bottom little tiny one is in. The wingtips are good. Everything looks really smooth and good. And I didn't show all the last little bits because it is very easy to figure out. Now that square piece that's cut out, that's going to be for landing lights. They're going to look cool. And we'll do something with those to make them look a little even cooler when we're done. So now the wing is basically together, and we'll slide this on here just to show you. This thing really does look like a Douglas Dauntless to me, a slow but deadly, an SBD. Tails are different, and it's kind of a longer, skinnier thing, but in terms of the dihedral and everything and the general plan, it looks good. So showing again how this lines up really, really well on the sides, and this is a real positive fit. There's the wingtips, how they come together. Everything is thought out really, really well on this model thus far, and the wing is no exception. It's a joy to put together. So that's pretty awesome. And here I'm just trying to, I pulled it off of my little stand to show you up close. Again, that light green part is going to be where a fillet goes, but everything else looks really good. And you can see the whole wing root together. This is all very strong, fits great, it's straight. It's the first, I think the first paper model wing I've ever made that's actually straight. It's not warped. So pretty excited. And there's the bottom showing you how that goes together and how everything sort of fits really, really, really well. So that's that. That's how the wings were put together, and they're put together really, really well. They're very self-explanatory. Looks good. Very pleased with how this is turning out. Can't wait to skin it. Whoops, huge thumb.